Yeah. 30 minutes after 6 o'clock. Make a good wave this morning. Yeah. Good morning, Cynthia B. Mary E. Banks. Veronica Sandy, she says, good morning, Gibby and Grenada. Good morning, God, Innocent Joseph. Blessings to everyone. Monday blessings. Catherine Phillip, good morning, Grenada. Good morning, Innocent. Hopefully, all had a wonderful and safe weekend. I did. Yeah, we had a wonderful time in church yesterday morning, man. Oh, gum. Folks, I urge you, find yourself close to a church. Church can't save you, but there's a kind of vibe, there's a feeling that comes with it when you congregate ever so often. If you're in the Wester Hall area, in the surroundings, I invite you to come on a Sunday morning. You will be blessed. Yeah. Wednesday nights too. Also the first and last Fridays of every month. Nice. Parents, I encourage you. Introduce your children to the Creator, yeah? Apple Joseph says good morning. Who's Apple? That's a nice name. Yes. Some folks say Christianity is boring. I know. When you have the wrong approach, right? Bishop George Fletcher and family, good morning. Nixon. How do you do? Sister Celia Fletcher. Arthur Langine says, good morning, my brother, and wishing you a wonderful day from Brooklyn, New York. How you do? You good, papi? Nice. Sylvina Child says, good morning, Innocent. Have an enjoyable day. I definitely will. And I want you to do the same, right? Nice. The original Shepherd Bishop, Pastor Laurie. How you do? And the First Lady and family. Nice. Kingdom Men. Good morning. Nice. I had to do this. But folks, it's time for us to get with the program. Yeah. For Monday. Well, let me tell you off the bat, okay? This morning I will be joined by my good friend, the farmers' representative in the upper house, that's the Senate, Senator Roderick St. Clair. He's going to be with us this morning. And we'll be talking agriculture from his perspective and so forth, right? So we won't be having, well, yeah, you can, join in the conversation because we'll be sharing a lot of information this morning. So we look forward to that engagement. Good morning, boss. How are you doing? Take your time on the road coming down, eh? Could be wet in some areas. Nice. How was the weekend, everyone? Everybody is okay? Everybody had a great weekend? Was it safe? And Mary Thomas says, good morning, wishing everyone a blessed day. Yvonne Courtney says, good morning, Mr. Joseph and Grenada. Good morning to you also. Nice. Let's get with it. The word of the day today. It's it's a nice word. Some folks use it. How should I put this? Right, some folks use it as a comparison between the big guys, or the so-called big guys, and the small guys. They say when a small man does that, they say he's a thief. But when a big boy does it, he embezzled. He embezzled. So the word for the day is the word embezzle. All right, E-M-B-E-Z-Z-L-E. What is the correct pronunciation? Z or Z? This English language, yeah, embezzle. All right, and to embezzle means to steal something, usually money, that you have been entrusted with. Simple as that. To embezzle is to steal something, usually money, that you have been entrusted with. Now, the store clock, thief. However, the politician embezzled. Oh my goodness, this word, 24 minutes on to 7 o'clock. Here's how we can use the word in a sentence. A company's senior accounts manager embezzled thousands of dollars from her employer. Yeah, she high up the chain, The accounts manager. But if it was the cleaner thief. Synonyms, yeah? Good, so that's the word of the day. What's the thought of the day? The thought of the day. Nadisha, good morning, my friend. Hope you had a great weekend. Yeah, I want to say good morning to you, Rachel, out there in Pomerose. How are you doing? You all right? Nice. As a matter of fact, let me say good morning to the entire community of Pomerose. Mr. Doggy, how are you doing? The quiet man. You're good, right? All the wonderful folks inside of Mount Agnes, good morning. Bukati, how are you doing, papi? Robert, what's up, guy? The thought of the day. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning or purpose. Good morning to you, my dear friend Judy Benoit. How are you this morning? Keep on smiling. Whatever you're doing it right. You look awesome. You look great. Nice. Pele Dabo, good morning to you, my bro. How you doing? All is well? Happy Thanksgiving to you. Our good friend Sayodi. Pele, we really had to make a time out and go and look for Sayodi, yeah? Sayodi and family. Lizzie, good morning. How you doing? Hope you're doing fine. Sayo. Yeah. All right, buzzing this morning. We've got the Maggie King of the Grill coming up on the 29th of July. That's 26 days away from today. It's happening at the Monroe's playing field. Get yourself prepared. Preparate yourself. Good morning, Blossom Alexis Welsh. How are you doing, girl? Bright smile as always. And like you're getting tall. Good morning. Good morning, Paula Paul. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great day thus far. All right. Nice. A lot of folks from the diaspora are coming for the Maggie King of the Grill. They're just coming for the grill and go back, So once they come to that, the summer holiday is made complete. 2023 calendar of events from the Spice Mass Corporation is out, and by now you should be acquainted with it. If you're a carnival lover, there's a calendar of events that you can visit, and so you can plan accordingly. You can determine which event you're going to, where and when, and the like. So 21 minutes on to 7 o'clock. That is the time. Okay. I had a wonderful and enjoyable weekend. So says Arthur Langine. Maxwin Belfont says, good morning, Mr. Joseph Maxwin. How are you doing? You all right? Nice. Good. Okay, I want to take the time out and right. The birthday greetings going out to Mr. Carlos Fletcher of Ravine in St. George. You've got greetings coming from your mom and your wife and children. Wishing you a very happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, bro. Enjoy it to the fullest. Someone says on WhatsApp, good morning, Gordon and the GBN team. Good morning to you also. Good morning, Petlin. Good morning. I'll be making, oh my goodness, yes, at last. Petlin, you had to make up to me with this farin, Yeah, you had me drinking quick oats porridge. It's farin I like. So thanks in advance, all right? As Blessed Messenger would say, thanks in advance, Petlin, for my farin. Good morning, Munich. How are you doing, Mr. Urban Mason and family? My good friend Brooklyn. Good morning, sir. How are you? The Maxwin family out there. My family out there. Good morning. Uncle Leonard, how you do? Yeah, right. You stop drinking the thing? That ain't gonna happen, right? Not in this lifetime. Good. I want to say good morning to the Mark family out there as well. Yep. The guys in the Coco, Epen and Squazim and Banji and Denson and Tito and oh my goodness. Somebody met me over the weekend and they said, Innocent, you know everybody in Grenada? Well, I try my best, you know. Yeah. Roger Rogers, good morning Grenada, good morning. Moving forward but not backward. Okay. David Snell says, what? Went? Why is that? I know. Okay. Buzzing. The industrial dispute between the Bank and General Workers Union and Republic Bank Limited continued on Friday. Saw the workers outside, the building in Melville Street, and they were protesting for a new collective agreement between the bank and the union. Okay. Well, fight for what you believe in, Yeah, it gives your life purpose. Do not let anyone advantage you. Okay, the food and agriculture sector issued relating to climate change, food security, and the green and blue economy were among the key areas on the agenda as regional agriculture ministers brainstormed on how to enhance the sector. Okay, the burden lifted for parents as school fees are removed from students at the TAMCC or T. Marital Community College. The decision was confirmed by ministry officials on Friday. Yeah, you remember I said I spoke about that? Right, good. I did not want to make a definitive statement because I did not have it confirmed, but I knew that was in the making, This one, new additions to the seed program while some were removed. So they indeed vetted that list, all right? Good, nice. Well, you guys do what you all got to do, Once it's being done in the interest of everyone. The High Commission of Canada, through the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, donated 82,620 Canadian dollars to the Grenada Planned Parenthood Association and Grenchap Inc. The funds will be used to strengthen sexual and gender-based violence services in Grenada and increase public awareness of human rights through community outreach. Sounds good. These are the buzzing stories. I doubt we'd have the time to discuss any of that because we have quite a lot. We have a mouthful coming from the Honorable Senator Roderick St. Clair. So I'm not certain that we're going to have that much of a but I do urge you to participate because we will be opening the lines. Participate in the conversation this morning with the Senator. Folks, this is where we've got to take that break. Those of you on the television platform, we've got a rebroadcast of Friday evening's television news. And those of you who are locked with me here on K105, we have the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather. Me. You don't know everyone because you don't know me. Me behave now. What happened to you? You want me to tell people my business or what? Good morning to you. And how is he, Huzzy? How is Underpants? I didn't want to call him on radio, but you forced me. Good morning to you and the entire family. Paula Paul says, good morning, Mr. Handsome and my Grenada people. Hey, she choked me, boy. She called me Mr. Handsome, yes? Hopefully everyone had a wonderful weekend. Harry's still tired from kayaking yesterday. You are kayak? Oh, okay. You're kayaking. Yeah, taking the ride. Okay. Folks, we've got to break it off. All right, we'll be back after 7, but we've got the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather coming up. Stick and stay with us.
Freedom is driven to pursue that passion that keeps you up at night and makes you smile in your sleep. Freedom is bold to embrace the possibilities that can open up your world and conquer new heights. Freedom is fabulous with bits and pieces that enhance the quality of your life. Freedom Freedom is what you do with the flexibility to change path or direction when you need to. Freedom breeds ambition and purpose while having loads of fun along the way. But most of all, freedom is well deserved for the road traveled and the journey still to come. Unleash your freedom with Nexa Credit Union. Offer ends August 31st, 2023. Call us on 440-1354 or visit our website to pre-apply. Apply now. Freedom awaits.
Evening, this is GBN's News at 7. A burden lifted for parents as school fees are removed for students at the T.A. Marichaud Community College. The decision was confirmed by ministry officials on Friday. More in this report from Rena Pear Thomas.
The one-year-old NDC government is making good on its promise of removing school fees for all students. Minister for Education David Andrew announced today that parents would not have to face the headache of paying tuition fees for students attending the T.A. Marichaud Community College. Minister Andrew was speaking at the 2023 graduation ceremony of the Presentation Brothers College today.
Now, young men, I want to assure you that your educational journeys are not yet finished. We know that you're just at a landing, and we anticipate that you're going to go much further on. And so we are delighted as a Ministry of Education and as a government to say to you that we are facilitating your advancement in education with the removal of tuition fees as you go on to access education at TAMCC and further on. We are quite convinced as a government and as a ministry that education is one of the single most transformative tools that we can use. In fact, Nelson Mandela said something to that effect. And so we're working in that vein.
Parents will still be required to pay other fees such as application fees, registration fees, among others. The no payment of tuition fees also applies to second-year students. The no school fee policy was introduced in September 2022 and was applicable then to pre-primary, primary, and secondary students. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear Thomas reporting.
The food and agriculture sector, issues relating to climate change, food security, and the green and blue economy were among the key areas on the agenda as regional agriculture ministers brainstormed on how to enhance the sector. The occasion was the OECS 7th meeting of the Council of Ministers, Agriculture, held at the Grenada Trade Center. Rena Pear Thomas has this report.
According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, food security is one of the many developmental challenges facing the Caribbean, with as much as 67.5% of the region's population living in moderate to severe food insecurity, compared to a global average of 27.6%. High levels of food inputs and the proportion of national agricultural food production and consumption characterize the OECS food and agricultural situation. Heads of government are committed to reducing the food input bill by 25% by 2025. This, along with many other issues affecting the food and agricultural sector in the region, were among the major topics of the OECS 7th meeting of the Council of Minister Agriculture held in Grenada today. Dr. Didicus Jules, Director General of the OECS Commission, spoke of other areas that were discussed.
Today we meet to deliberate on key initiatives and matters which impact the continued drive of the Commission and the Member States to address food insecurity and, by extension, foster sustainable economic development in the region. Honourable Ministers, there is a fierce urgency of now surrounding this challenge, and it is not accidental that our strategy has the acronym FAST. Food is the most elemental of human necessities, and in times of uncertainty and catastrophe, it is the most fundamental provision that must be guaranteed.
Grenada's Minister for Agriculture, Adrian Thomas, spoke of his government's plan to transform the government's economy by developing linkage among agriculture, agro-processing, marine resources, and tourism. Minister Thomas outlined the two strategic pillars within his ministry.
The Ministry of Agriculture is aligned with this strategic goal and has as its mandate, 1, strengthening agriculture to increase food production. thereby reducing the food input bill, enhancing food and nutrition security. 2. Developing agro-processing industries to increase value added in the economy, strengthen linkages within the agricultural sector, and reduce unemployment, particularly in the rural areas.
The minister also spoke of some of the projects that his ministry has already rolled out thus far in this regard.
The government has therefore embarked on major projects for increasing the sustainability and resiliency of agriculture. The Food Security Enhancement Project will focus on increasing crops, fisheries, and livestock production, agro-processing, storage for agricultural commodities, and building technical capacity. The recently launched Agriculture Development Assistance Program, ADAPT, is designed to assist farmers, fisherfolk, horticulturists, apiculturists, and plant propagators to meet the full potential in the cultivation, management, and availability of priority agricultural commodities and marine resources. The youths are specifically targeted through the Youth in Agricultural Program for farmers and potential farmers less than 35 years of age.
Rena P. Thomas, GBN News.
More good news. Grenada's Pettifer Lewis, Executive Director of the Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce, has been elected Chair of the Network of Caribbean Chambers of Industry and Commerce, or CARICHAM. Lewis was elected unopposed as the Chair of CARICHAM, while another woman, Kim Eichmann, the Executive Director of the Belize Chamber of Commerce, was elected as Vice President. This election has been described as a significant step forward for gender equality and female leadership in the Caribbean business landscape. Lewis brings a wealth of expertise and a fresh perspective to her role, saying that her vision for the organization emphasizes the importance of exclusivity and unity among member nations. The industrial dispute between the Bank and General Workers Union and Republic Bank Limited continued on Friday. Workers converged outside of the RBL's Melville Street St. George's outlet in protest for a new collective agreement between the bank and the union.
Workers first downed tools on Thursday after the bank refused to conclude negotiations for a new collective agreement for the period January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2022. Joseph Mitchell is the President General of the Bank and General Workers Union, the bargaining agent for Republic Bank workers.
Yesterday, they wrote a letter to yesterday they sent, my understanding, they sent a letter to the minister telling her that they are waiting on a written recommendation. She already gave a verbal recommendation. I mean, think about from March the 13th up until you have to wait until a strike starts before you could say to the minister, this is slowing me down, even after we have made repeated call to have this matter resolved. So it tells you that I don't think that the bank is serious in terms of solving this problem.
President General Mitchell says he wants to see a speedy resolution to the issues.
The bank is the employer. They have the responsibility to come forward and let us sit with the union who represents the worker and resolve this matter. The strike is just something that is helping to trigger the process, but nobody has interest in strike. What we want to see is that the workers go back to the workplace, get the benefits that is rightfully due to them, and certainly to continue to serve the public as they have been doing for many, many years. That is our main interest.
Republic Bank, in a statement on Thursday, said the Labour Minister made verbal recommendations in March and parties were yet to receive the minister's written recommendation that would have afforded them the opportunity to conduct comprehensive analysis of the matter. The release noted that it was unfortunate that industrial action has been pursued prior to to the formal conclusion of mediation proceedings by the Labour Minister. The release further noted that the Labour Commissioner has since engaged the bank and the union in separate talks with a view to resolving the issues. GBN reached out to the Labour Commissioner today to see if any resolution is in sight, but she is prohibited from commenting on the matter without consent from the involved parties. For GBN News, I'm Nisha Paul.
And back to the news at 7. There are new additions to the SEED program, while some were removed. We have details in this report.
Social Development Minister Philip Telesford has disclosed that during May and June 2023, 200 people were added to the list of beneficiaries receiving financial assistance through the Support for Empowerment, Education and Development SEED program. Addressing a town hall meeting at the National Stadium on Wednesday, the Social Development Minister said the staff in his ministry has been recertifying recipients and the number of individuals were removed. He said that savings allowed government to assist an additional 200 people.
Based on the savings that we have recognized, we were able to get on 700 new persons onto the program. The people who were worthy of being on the program, but otherwise were excluded because it was contaminated. The database was contaminated with people who should not be on the program. So this is the cost of some of these unfair practices.
The SEED program, Minister Telesford explained, is a transition program lifting vulnerable households from a state of poverty to a state of stability and prosperity.
In Grenada's context, I do not think that Grenada's budget will ever be able to treat everybody who needs it. That's basic, and that is true. That's a fact. So what the ministry tries to do, as much as it possibly can, identify the people who are in most critical situations and circumstances and try to treat to them.
He explained that one of the unfair practices included rigging the system so that those who should not qualify became eligible. Telesford said that the manipulation of the system caused people who can work to become recipients of the program. Therefore, recertification is a must. He said this process is nearing completion.
We started this recertification program to ensure that people who are on the program is worthy of being on the program. And it will shock you to recognize how contaminated this program was. People who were worthy of getting in the program, but because of the conditions for getting on, they could not get on because they failed the proxy means test. And so I guess the field officers, or whoever it was, I don't want to identify any particular individual or individuals or set of people, they might have sort of rigged the system to get them in. Some of them were indeed worthy because of the poverty situation or unemployable situation. Let me give.
In April, Telesford informed the lower house of Parliament that there are 7,337 active beneficiaries benefiting from SEED. In June 2022, there were a change in government, and at that time, there were 7,107 people in the program. The government has not disclosed the number of people removed from the list. Christina John, GBN News.
The High Commission of Canada, through the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, donated 82,620 Canadian dollars to the Grenada Planned Parenthood Association and Grenchap Inc. this week. The funds will be used to strengthen sexual and gender-based violence services in Grenada and increase public awareness of human rights through community outreach. Details in this report.
The $49,905 Canadian dollars awarded to the Grenada Planned Parenthood Association will initiate a one-step center for sexual and gender-based violence survivors in Grenada. The center will provide a safe space for persons who have experienced sexual and gender-based violence to access client-centered medical and social services. This funding will also support the training of the Grenada Planned Parenthood Association clinical staff and hospital healthcare providers in survivor-focused care, as well as contribute to upgrading facilities at the designated center. The Canadian $32,715 donated to Grenchap Inc. will facilitate a training program and communications campaign aimed at building awareness around human rights and sexual gender-based violence in Grenada. 15 community mobilizers will benefit from the training on Grenada's Domestic Violence Act 2010 and the social and emotional learning in 14 community forums across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. The Canada Fund for Local Initiative is a program designed to support small-scale, high-impact projects in developing countries that align with the Government of Canada's thematic priority areas for engagement. High Commissioner of Canada, H.E. Lilian Chatterjee, in her remarks said, and I quote, "Grenada is pleased to continue its partnership with the Grenada Planned Parenthood Association and Grenchap Inc., two organizations committed to building a safer, more inclusive Grenada for all, understanding the importance of working collaboratively with local government partners to protect and empower the most vulnerable members of society," unquote. Grenada Planned Parenthood Association and Grenchap Inc. are two of many civil society organizations across 4 eligible countries in the Eastern Caribbean, which were successful in the 2023-2024 CFLI project, which administers $300,000 Canadian dollars in available funding this year. Rena P. Thomas, GBN News.
Inability to source replacement parts for fixtures in the new housing units has been identified as a serious and recurring maintenance challenge for the government. The Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, Philip Telesford, said his ministry, after visiting all the sites of the Grenada-China housing program and compiling a report, discovered a serious blunder with the retrofitting of the units, which makes upkeeping difficult.
We recognize that there are leaking roofs, moldy rooms, leaking windows, water coming through underneath the windows and through the windows, broken windows, cracked walls, broken pipe, water coming through, busting through the walls because of broken pipes. In some cases, electricity mixing with water during the rainy seasons and so because of leaked roof and cracked walls and different situations.
Minister Telesford explains that since government is unable to locally source parts to remedy the electrical and plumbing issues plaguing many of the units, it is unable to replace fixtures that have gone bad.
We recognize also that the replacement of parts in those units is not consistent with what we have here locally. So it's not easy to repair those units. Because if a pipe is broken, or a piece of fitting in the piece of the electrical fitting went, you cannot take a pattern, walk into one of the hardware stores, and walk back out with a fitting. It just the supplies we have is not consistent with what they have.
The housing minister believes that should his administration embark on any housing collaborations, the availability of replaceable items should not be an oversight.
I hope and pray that this government, if we have to partner with any other agency, body, or government going forward in the future, that we will insist on some basic ground rules. And some of it has to do with electrical connections and plumbing fittings and things that are replaceables. The replaceables should be able to be purchased in our local hardware stores. If we can't do that, it's a waste of time because those things don't last forever.
Despite being faced with multiple challenges, government has given its commitment to repairing the units block by block. Minister Telesford said the mandate has already been given to the Grenada Housing Authority to start the process. He was speaking at government's town hall meeting in St. George's on Wednesday. Reporting. The prize is at the end of the poll. It's time to take a peek through the GBN ISA lens. Crawling and slipping in tonight's eyesore is video footage from the greasy pole competition on Thursday at the Fisherman's Birthday celebrations in Guelph St. John. A man is captured successfully climbing the pole and securing the prize attached to its end. For the greasy pole event, a long pole is greased and oiled so that it becomes difficult to climb. The climber then has to scale the pole, which is usually several feet and positioned in an upward slope, to retrieve the prize at the end of the pole. The town of Guelph, Grenada's main fishing district, has been the center of attractions for Fisherman's Birthday celebration for years. The event is celebrated annually on June 29. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp at 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
We, the Churches of Christ Grenada, invite you to the Isle of Spice, July 9th to 12th, 2023, for the annual Caribbean Lectureship Jubilee event. It promises to be grand. Grenada is home to over 40 beaches, sweet spices, not forgetting the oil down. The best part is the singing, praising, and preaching of God's word by the brethren to the Governor of the universe. We look forward to fellowshipping with families and friends at the Radisson Beach Resort Convention Center, Grenada. The Churches of Christ Grenada invites you to this auspicious event. Don't you miss it.
Do you wish to learn how to swim? Well, Monday the 10th to Friday the 14th of July 2023 is the Sandals Foundation National Learn to Swim Week. And Get Grenada Swimming are providing 1-hour swimming classes for children aged 5 years old all the way up to seniors. Classes last 1 hour each and are from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. daily, absolutely free. There are 19 swim locations to choose from, all over Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Over 10,000 individuals have been on the Get Grenada swimming program since 2017. Why not join us? You can register via www.getgrenadaswimming.com. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Ocean Connect, a Sandals Foundation program, for their support. Book your swim classes via www.getgrenadaswimming.com.
This is Drupati, and I will be at Hubbard's Legends in concert on Saturday, 8th July 2023. Come out in your numbers and let's roll up the tassa. Roll up the tassa, roll up the tassa, bisasa. Oh, better roll up the tassa, roll up the tassa, bisasa. Whee!
Chaos and LED. Get on us, Lord. Grenada had the best man's by far. Grenada had the best job in the whole wide world. Grenada had the best man's by far. Grenada had the best job in the whole wide world. Watch mass and watch bacchanal. Soca gone international. That's going around the globe. Soca not just for carnival. Watch mass and watch bacchanal. Soca gone international. That's going around the globe.
owner and founder of Feed Grenada Tours, Taxi and Rental. We provide transportation tours in the field of tourism. Being in the field of tourism, the pandemic have taught us that we need all the help we can get, which the NIF has been very helpful in doing so. But as a small business owner, we are even more excited right now with the new initiative that the NIF have launched, providing a little bit more flexibility for small businesses like ourselves. So we definitely encourage all of the small business to consider getting on board with the NIF and this new initiative that allows the level of flexibility that they have implemented.
Important announcement for CIBC First Caribbean customers. Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited invites prospective customers to collect their debit and credit cards, checkbooks, night depository keys and bags, and deposit books at its distribution center located at the GV Steel Conference Room, number 14 Church Street, St. George's. The center will be open from June 19th to July 8th, 2023, operating from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Mondays to Fridays, and from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays. You will be required to present a valid photo ID for collection. To avoid any delay in your service, we encourage you to visit Co-op Bank's distribution center at your earliest convenience between June 19th and July 8th, 2023. We look forward to welcoming you home.
Welcome home.
Records at the traffic department shows that a total of 1,447 accidents were reported for the year 2012, which includes 3 road fatalities. 2,946 accidents were reported for the year 2022, which includes 8 road fatalities. This is a significant increase of 104%. This is alarming. When a family tragically loses a loved one, does it matter whether by means of a gun or a motor vehicle? To avoid accidents, drivers and pedestrians alike must exercise extreme caution when using the road.
That's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
right, folks, good morning. It's 16 minutes after 7 o'clock, and as promised, I've got with me in the studio the Honorable Senator, Senator Roderick St. Clair. He is the senator with responsibility for the farmers representative and the fishers. Senator, good morning.
Good morning, my dear friend Innocent. Good morning to all the listening public. Good morning to my stakeholders, farmers, fishers, and the whole world. Say morning to everyone, and wet Monday morning.
Yeah, and it seems as though we go have a wet week.
Yeah. If I'm listening to Fimba.
It seems as though we'll have a wet week.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm happy to at last get you to come and talk with us. I mean, we did a little conversation via Zoom a couple months ago, but at that time you were still in a kind of silent state. You're finally ready to talk to us, and I'm so happy. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't tell you who, but somebody told me when I told them that you're coming this morning, she said, ask him why all of a sudden you're ready to talk.
No, I mean, I've been talking, but at the same time, you have to manage your communication strategy. It's important. I mean, I've been speaking in the parliament. I've been speaking in different spaces. Of course, at the same time, the government has asked for time. The government say give them time. They're trying to put things in place. So at the same time, you have to be reasonable. But the time has come that we cannot keep waiting, and we need to know what is happening. In fact, only last week speaking to a few farmers, saying to me, well, Senator, what the government doing for us? Saying, well, not my government, it's our government, it's all of us government to do for us. And so I think that is a question that is on the table right now after 12 months. Farmers are asking, fishers are asking, what is there for us? I was out in, to say not just belated birthday greetings to all of fisher folks, the fisherman birthday celebrations is expanded over a few weeks. I was out in Waltham only on Saturday evening, and of course they have concerns. Okay. So we would have a discussion as we go, and of course continue with the engagement as we go along, agitating on different issues. But of course, I trust that persons have been following the parliament. I know much more persons have been following the parliament, but not only for now. You need to go back and look at the history, look back at the files, look at issues that we have agitated in the past. And stay tuned, and also give feedback. It's very important, because from where I sit, you don't know everything. You never know everything. You never know what is happening in all spaces. So it's very important. I follow closely what is happening. I may not attend a lot of sometimes the town hall meeting, town hall engagement of the government, because again, the government need a free hand. If the government invite me to be present, I will be present. If the farmers who would be involved say they need me, but the government need a space to speak, and I being present, I think sometimes it can skew the discussion and so on. So I follow, I monitor, but I think people need space.
Let me ask you this: it's not the first time that you've been representing the farmers. As you've done it on cross administrations, the previous administration and currently now. What are you feeling? What are you getting as it relates to the people that you're representing? Are you happy?
Happy in terms of what?
Plans and programs that will, push the agriculture and fisher folks agenda.
Well, I will say, in the current construct, there are some issues that we have burning. I would look at the budget, which is basically the official plan of the government, and there are some key points that were made within the budget that is documented there, and I'm happy with, I wouldn't say some of the plans, the issues pertaining to agriculture, fishers, etc. I'm good with that. Of course, we would want more. the question would be, what is the delivery on those issues? And so we could talk about that. It's just about 6 months into the budget cycle. So I trust that between now and November, December, most of what is listed there can be delivered. So definitely from that end. Previous administration in terms of delivery, again, there have been a few deliveries here and there, but I think that the previous government could have done much more based on the time they have been there to address all of those issues. All of those issues has been perennial, maybe 20 years, going, and we could talk about that. So the current issues that are present, I said as a reset, and we look forward to have those being addressed, and we'll speak to those in a while. In terms of the programs, as specifically as there is. I mean, some people may say, well, what are the specifics? For example, the issue on intellectual property, which was a big issue at the first sitting of Parliament with the Senate. Of course, the government has taken it on board and officially say, okay, we would work towards that. So we look at that, We look at the fish market in Carriacou and P.T. Matnick and the work that the MP there, Tevin, is doing, Andrews, is doing a very good job from my perspective. And so this is very good. But at the same time, we speak out the issue with the conch, so that the folks dealing with lambi and the fishers and so on, that's a whole new situation. We weren't able to export, and so very soon we should be able to export. So these are just some of the high points that have been burning for us. Of course, Prix de Larceny, which we could speak all for next year about, and I trust that we would speak into that. This, I would say, there's a minus, and that nothing really is happening in that area.
And why do you think so? Because I remembered from a previous sitting of the Senate, you articulated and you brought forward a bill
a motion
to have some emphasis placed on the Prix de Larceny. I'd like to call it a pandemic.
But yeah, I mean, in the previous government, I would say, I mean, I've been agitating this issue because this is a big issue. In fact, only last Friday, interesting, the OECS Minister of Agriculture met in Grenada, and of course the opening ceremony to which I was invited and I was present, and of course the Calice, I think it was 4-Hers, young children 4-Hers, they were there and they gave a sort of recital, poetry, very creative, I guess, by the teacher put together. And they say, in this whole agriculture, and they list 3 things in the first opening. If you look at the video, they speak of Prix de Larceny. They didn't use the specific words, but theft. They speak about pest and disease, and they spoke about, I think it was like climate change issues, but that was in that space. So this is the most, to me, prevalent crime in Grenada is Prix de Larceny. The previous administration would have had some dialogue. They had a big meeting in Grenville, which I basically was a social that was organized. It was social because nobody knows what the outcome of that up to now. We had $150,000 allocated to support Prix de Larceny. I don't know what that money was used for up to now. And of course, the officers there keep dwindling and dwindling.
You mean from the Prix de Larceny task force?
Yeah, from the Prix de Larceny task force. And I've been calling that we need to remove the Prix de Larceny task force from being rural constables, because they're like traffic wardens. They're in that same category, rural constables. So they're not fully in the police force. They don't have the benefits and all of those issues. So their dream is to become a police officer. When they become a police officer, they get the rank and they get all the benefits. Then they're no longer Prix de Larceny. So if agriculture is one of our major pillars, and if agriculture is such a major issue, and if Prix de Larceny is such a major crime, why would we use Prix de Larceny, which is almost a kind of looked down on job in terms of the job arrangement, job enhancement, make it prestigious, put it into the ranks of the police, and let it become a sergeant of Predelasini, a XYZ, a commander, deputy commissioner responsible, and you have a full communication, because part of the issue that you face is because of the nature of these folks' employment. They are being used and abused, quote unquote, by the different official police to go do this, go do that, go do this. So the real Predelasini issues and the focus is lost. I trust that with the new commissioner that we can see some difference, because whilst yes is a government issue, the police, who is the day-to-day commander, day-to-day maneuvering of the resources, just like how we could have the wardens and others stopping you 7 o'clock in the morning coming to work for a license and insurance. When all those thieves working 9 in the night and 3 in the morning, all the police and the SSU, everybody fast in the bed sleeping, nobody waking up and doing anything. So the question is, what is your focus? Your focus is on whether your tire right, whether your license is correct, or do we concern about that other aspect? Now, of course, one will say, Predelasini, if they hold a guy, he doesn't put monies in the treasury, because the government get no money from that. In fact, the farmers barely get any money from it, because sometimes the folks, they can't even pay.
And not only that too, but the long and drawn out time it takes.
Well, that's another issue. Yeah. So I say all of this to say that all this town hall meeting and conversation that we having, we need to sit down and take this thing and find a strategy how to implement. Of course, we have to be very grateful to the Prime Minister, I was saying specific here, in his capacity as the Minister of Finance, for establishing the Predelasini Fund. This has been there long to be done. So now that the fund is there, when the court charges you, they cannot put this money
into the fund.
Yeah, it goes into the fund, and out of this fund now you can use to compensate farmers temporarily while you wait for the folks to pay and so on. So this is a good move. But of course, the bigger issue has to do with crop compensation, and that is a big issue. Because all of this are connected. When somebody steals your produce, they damage your crops, and so we are dealing with a 1995 law. And we're asking through another motion I did, and not just now, we did it during the previous administration. That motion actually passed, but nothing was done. So like everybody freed, and that motion, essentially, that bill basically says, the Compensation Act says the Minister of Agriculture. And the Minister of Agriculture, we had 2 ministers for agriculture, and none of them up to now cannot even figure out to use their discretion to say, I passed today this order on this date that these prices are to be reviewed. So from 25 years ago, successive government, no Minister for Agriculture has seen it fit to pass this order for these prices to be reviewed. But let's look at what has happened over 25 years. Prices has gone up for several things. Labor has gone up. But not only that, we have taxes being changed. But not only that, we have all sort of salary increases has been taking place. Only last week, I think the public workers signed the salary increases. So the point I'm making, this is a way for the farmer to also get some salary increase in the case that there is damage. So if somebody damaged your corn, the price that go be used for appraising is at 25 years go price. I mean, who does this thing?
So it doesn't reflect the changes of price.
I mean, if after 1 year in government, 2 ministers of agriculture can sit down and say, boy, let us at least do this for the farmers. We're not asking for money. As the fund was established, which is good now, fix this part. And I see it will take a little while to do, because I'm realistic. It's about 100 and something items you have to go through and look at the costing and so on. But you need to start. You can sit down and free it. And how it's set up is that it's only the Minister of Agriculture that can cause this to happen, unless maybe the Prime Minister by decree decide, look, something need to be done for our farmers of this nation. So this need to be addressed seriously, because we are operating in a 25 years ago. Now we're speaking about reviewing of minimum wage. This is good. We welcome it. And of course, there was a consultation with the different agriculture sector. We're looking forward for the reports. Of course, that time then we would make our various contribution. We're excited about that. But at the same time, what it's doing, we know farmers are already paying more than minimum wage right now, than the existing minimum wage. So we don't know where it's going to land, but prices going up there also. So what is happening to the farmers? So the government need to do something. I mean, this could, as a friend of mine would say, it's only bad-mindedness that would cause this type of thing. No. I mean, fuel.
Everything is going up.
Look at Nawasa with some tax for water. All sort of things happening. But for the farmers, for the 10,000 plus farmers, we find that this is something that, well, this is leaving us in more poverty.
Are you prepared to say that administrations of the past, including this current administration, is really trivializing the importance of agriculture and the agricultural sector?
I wouldn't say they're trivializing. I would say that the actions in this specific case and the results is not in sync with progress.
Okay. All right, folks, in case you're just joining us, let me just take a couple comments from our Facebook platform. Roger Mitchell says, make the job attractive for young people. I guess he's talking about the Pretty Larceny Task Force.
Okay, if this is speaking on.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't see this is, and what you're saying there, remember, the vehicles, right, need to be provided using the technology. So for example, the issue of the cameras and so on, you want to set up, all of these can be integrated. Remember, in a Pretty Larceny system, you're taking out registration of vendors, registration of farmers. So there is some level of IT involved in that. And of course, I believe, my brother Roger, we can also look at incentivizing. So for example, if you're able to apprehend X amount of persons, then you should be able to get some incentive as job performance and so on. So I endorse it, because I think the police, when they hold you with that ticket, I think they get some money. I don't know if that is true. I heard somebody saying that in the past.
I heard that too.
So I don't know. I cannot confirm that. Someone might be able to confirm it. And so this, we believe, would able to help. I mean, Pretty Larceny, you would say, is all over the world. But it doesn't mean that because it's all over the world, we have to sit down and accept it. Yeah. We better than that. We smarter than that, you know. And that is, I would say, one of the number one deterrent. But farmers, we have to still, I mean, really, our heart has to go to our farming community, because they continue to try, you know. And what is sad about this, Innocent and listeners there, the produce loss is one. The risk, the safety issues that we put in our whole market systems especially in the international market, that is an issue. Because when you start stealing, then your traceability issues become a question. But then we also have the issue of violence against our farmers. Some farmers afraid to go in their lands because they're afraid of being attacked, so they have to wait when other farmers are around and all of those things. And then the farmers say they need guns. And they say, no, we cannot give them guns. Okay, fine. But then who is there to protect? Because if there is an asset to be protected, what is the deployment? You know, you're not seeing nobody around.
Let's take this call. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning to you. Yeah, and I'm listening to your program this morning concerning the last year's farmers. Now, it have officers, those past people on the roads with big bags on the head and on the back, and they would not stop them and ask them where they get the produce or whatever. I know it have a lot of them. They'll be walking the road with they haven't got no lands. And these farmers card again, the farmers ID card, it's a must, and this have to come true. I have man, because 2008, 2009, Mr. Tillman Thomas, they took off the farmers ID card, and that I'm not hearing nothing about that again. These farmers ID card have to present each and every buyer and everything. And farmers, when they buy things, the buyers have to have a receipt. They have to give me one. I have to give you one. It's too much of stolen goods on the farmers and the property, which we are working very, very hard. Have a good morning.
Thank you, caller.
This farmer is right, and I'm happy, farmer, for the education that you provide. What you say is so exact. If a farmer sells, or when a farmer sells, he should issue you a receipt. So I sell to you, innocent as a vendor. I issue you a receipt. So when you go to the market and sell, you as a vendor should also be registered within the pre-licensing system, because the law caters for those things. We don't need to review law for that. That is already there.
That's all right.
So
just enforcing it.
So you need to go now as a pre-licensing officer, come to you in the market and say, on the roadside, and say, look, where is your vendor's ID? Just as a farmer's ID. And then I could ask you, for the goods you have, where are the receipts? So if you show the receipt is from John Brown, I can easily take this receipt, call John Brown and say, John Brown, did you sell? Or I could just come by you and ask you, can I inspect your receipt book?
Yes.
Simple as that. So the system is there. Now, if I speak to, normally I would, when they stop me for license and insurance, I'll say, but you don't ask me if well, they didn't tell us to do that. They didn't. So the point is that the commissioner of police has to ensure that his troops address crimes in this country, and I'm putting it crime. And that is one of those crimes in the country. So if you're sending out your troops there and they're not doing that, you could multitask. So even if you're limited on forces, you could multitask. And I don't think there is a strategy. I mean, like I used to say, why would you want to stop the people who do like illegal license, driving without license, all those things? They would do it in the nights. They would do it on those fete on them on the weekends. But where are the police on the weekend? Where are them on the early morning?
We have to restrain the Calypsonian when the police station closed.
Yeah, so the point is, we seems to lack a strategy. And I really hope and trust that the new commissioner really do something,
address it,
that is within his job description.
Let's take a caller, and after that we take a commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk marketing board. Good morning, caller.
Good morning to you, Mr. Innocent.
Welcome.
Good morning to you, Mr.
Senator St. Clair.
And Farmers Representative, my good partner.
Morning.
Yeah, I tend to support 95% of what the gentleman just said earlier. This Farmers Representative. I think he is totally right, and you're talking that he didn't play with one and hit one. He hit both of them, present government and past government. I too believe that we need a lot of more step up in agriculture. There's a lot of talk, and we ain't seen action. We don't see plans. The new President Minister of Agriculture has given us a lot of food for thought. We want to see action now. We want to see them manifest themselves. But there's a lot of statement that he made that seems to be good for the benefit of agriculture. We want to see them implementing now. And there's a wealth of knowledge still to become. For instance, there's a lot of idle land still, and we have not actually heard what is going to be done with among the idle land. Douglaston, Granba Estate in chaos. You have Black Bay Estate in chaos. You have Booker's Estate in chaos. A lot of land there, and we must be told what is going to do to leave agriculture and leave these estates on them. Okay. So hats off to Mr. Minister, Mr. Farmers Representative. Your plate is filled, and we want to see you too in action. Thank you.
Yeah, but I must say quickly, what's his name again? From Go there, Mr. Bridgman. Without disclosing your name, but you are well known guy. What you're saying is correct. There's other plans, other discussion. I know from the ministry's end, they have a technical team, that policy team that the minister spoke about in Parliament that is working. And I think that is a really good idea. And I think other ministries should even follow a sort of model, because that is like a sort of think tank. So I really like that approach. Now, whether or not you have the right people, whether or not it's expanded enough, that's a different discussion. But I think that model I endorse. But there's a bigger issue. The bigger issue leads to the same proclamation that was made by the minister, the senior minister, Lennox Andrews, and of course the minister himself with responsibility. Where is his staff? If you go in the Ministry of Agriculture, and it's something that I plan to table a question, let us get a real update and see where are the vacancies. How much persons are really missing? Because you could have all the plans, but even though our food soldiers to execute, and that is part of the problem, and that need to be resolved. So we cannot set up the minister in a way that he don't have troops, he don't have soldiers. How would he get the work done?
Yeah. He has the plans, but he can't be executed.
And that is another call. Whether it is the cabinet that holding him up, whether it is PS not submitting a submission, whatever he's doing, we need to put, if it means that some persons have to leave other jobs that they are doing and come in to address this key pillar in this country, then let it so it people change jobs every day. They go from different jobs. Let us put out the advertisement and let persons apply, whether they're in the diaspora or wherever they are, and fill some key positions within the ministry. Otherwise, all the plans that they are speaking about with our parliament, fisheries has the same issue too. So why is I see that? And then the other point I want to make around that too, it's something that I've said before and maybe not public enough, that this issue about minister with responsible for agriculture, we have to stop this thing.
Okay.
What we need is a minister for agriculture. Now, meaning that, of course, I know Mr. Lennox Andrews, his hand might be filled. Let us make Mr. Thomas
the minister
for agriculture. So he can act with his full space, and then you could say, well, what are you doing now? You don't do it because right now his hand could be tied. We don't know how tied. He may say, well, no, he's not tied. I'm the minister. But this with responsibility, I think this is something that need to change, and we need to have a full minister for agriculture. This is the pillar. It cannot be no junior thing. So it's like, again, it come back to the point of how we seeing these things.
The importance of it.
How we seeing these things, and how certain things are set up. You could set up to fail because you don't set up right. Mm-hmm. And I think this is another key issue that should be considered by this administration.
All right, folks, we've got to take a commercial break. And in case you're just joining us, I'm speaking with Senator Roderick St. Clair. He is a farmer's representative in the upper house, the Senate, and we're talking agriculture this morning. We take a commercial break. When we come back, we look at the Marketing and National Importing Board.
Sure.
Folks, we'll be back after the...
So it begins, a journey like none other. Every moment has the potential to be unforgettable. Bring home a piece of the tropical green forest with every emerald. Capture the sparkling light of flawless water in a diamond. Make the sunrise and sunsets last forever. With precious colored gemstones, the essence of happiness is in our most precious memories. So, when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will last forever. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
At the NIS, our team proudly works to support the evolving needs of Grenadians. We have made some changes to our operations and want to keep you informed. Firstly, we are happy to introduce the new unemployment benefit. This benefit will provide an insured person with 50% of his or her former income in the case of sudden unemployment. To support this benefit and other benefits we offer, it was necessary to increase the contribution rate. The contribution rate will increase gradually each year until it reaches 16% in 2031. As always, the contribution will be split between you and your employer. The pensionable age will also increase from 60 to 65 years. This increase will also be gradually reaching age 65 in 2029. Pensioners will continue to be eligible for a pension from age 60, but will receive a reduced payment. The NIS recognizes that the prices of basic customer goods are increasing globally. Therefore, we are happy to also increase the weekly minimum pension payment by 25%. Finally, we have adjusted our survivors' benefit payment to a percentage of the age pension minimum. Widows, widowers, and dependent parents will receive 100% or $58 weekly, while children will receive 50% or $29 weekly of the deceased's pension. We are here to make the transition to these new changes as clear and simple as possible. If you have any questions on how these changes impact you and your family, please contact our new informational hotline at 440-6647 or visit www.nisgrenada.org. Thank you for allowing us to be your social security provider.
Do you know that you can lower your electricity bill by switching to energy-efficient appliances? By switching to energy-efficient appliances, you can help lower your energy usage. Your refrigerator, for example, is amongst the highest energy-consuming appliances within your home as it remains running throughout the day and night. Switching to an energy-efficient refrigerator can lower your electricity bill by up to 40%. As an individual consumer, I cannot impact global fuel prices. However, I can ease the burden of rising fuel rates by switching to energy-efficient appliances. What can you do?
Grenlink, energizing our Grenada.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners. The conversation this morning, speaking with Senator the Honorable Roderick St. Clair, the farmers' representative in the Senate. And Senator, we have a question or concern here from one of our WhatsApp contributors. He said, can the farmers' representative in the Senate share his assessment with respect to the availability of paid, adequate and consistent labor available for farmers willing and ready to pay?
And that's the important point, message posted on the WhatsApp. Farmers are always willing and ready to pay once they get in value. The issue of labor has been a big issue. In fact, I know when the former minister in the other administration, Peter David, came in, that was one of, he said he couldn't understand how labor is an issue. So how in construction we don't have that problem? How, and he couldn't understand. Up to now, I don't think he understands how that is an issue. It is an issue because sometimes you cannot get the quality of labor you need. Drains, pruning, not just say the basic, even cutting grass. You know, how do you do it? So the quality of labor. So the issue of training is important. And I know there are different training that takes place on the farm, and we need to keep doing that. But just having labor, if you want to produce consistently and so on, you need to, you have your plan, you want to plant, you want to dig drains, you want to do your pruning, you want to do your staking of your tomatoes, and sometimes the worker don't show up. So, and sometimes it's only 2 workers, and the one that don't, they spoil the whole plan.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to harvest, and you can harvest you good. So I agree with you, Messenger. But also another point that we need to also bear in mind, the issue of task. What constitutes a task? I think even in minimum wage discussion, we need to look at that, because I will say that in the agriculture sector we have good models. What a task used to be, what is a day work? Now a day work is not only the time, but they have to be connected to that productivity factor. And so farmers need to stand up and ensure that those things are factored in. And I'm here to work with you, to work along with the different forces, so that we ensure that that sort of justice takes place.
Another burning issue, right? The fiasco, well, I would refer to it as a fiasco, the MNIB fiasco. What is your take on this? We are not hearing much about it now. I know that it is said that the marketing board has been closed for assessment, and it will be reopened, or it should be reopened, whether it's under a new name but a different arrangement, and it is a public-private partnership or whatever. What from your perspective, what's happening with marketing?
Well, in fact, it's funny when you say the word closed, because a few people been laughing at me and say, "Oh, it could be." I say, "Well, I don't know. The government said that the place closed." They said the place could close. They said the only place that really closed is Sotes. They say Tams is operating, Young Street is operating, Carrico is operating, River Road is operating. I said, but no, that can't be true. So I now become the jokers on me to verify, only to realize that those things are operating and it's not really closed. So I'm not too sure what closed really mean, but maybe transition. So I'm not too sure what closed really is, because closed to me is that you was going to close down and set up places. But of course, I guess maybe good sense prevailed in the process. It is an issue because we're not too sure where it's going. In fact, I had a question a few weeks ago in the Senate to find out about this committee, because who is the committee? What is this committee about? We got some information, and of course, sad to know that the chairman, passed away. My good friend, Mr. Harford, debated on other issues. Very energetic farmer and entrepreneur. And to me, I heard the Prime Minister saying, well, look, there is a setback. How far is this setback? Heaven knows in this whole process. Mr. Harford would have passed maybe over a month now. So I trust that they would find someone else in that replacement. I'm not sure if any work started. So these are some follow-up questions that I have. And of course, interestingly, if you recall, I raised this issue in the parliament, saying we need to have a review of the MNIB. And the government said, no, we can't review this thing. Where are you going with that? It's on investigation. When, of course, the report was out long before. Of course, the president agreed, bring the report. Up to now, we haven't seen the report which they promised to bring. And then my good friend, Senator Joseph, Attorney General, said, this thing going to cost. We cannot impose costs on the government. The Senate doesn't have that jurisdiction. Only to learn that actually there is fees being paid to these members of this committee. So my follow-up question would be, how much money is being spent so far? Where is money coming out? Is it coming from the taxpayers' money, or is it coming from some other fund in the agency to do that? So, and this was early in the game. That was way back in October thereabout. Only to realize that we end up in February, March, all of this discussion. The issue about that and the uncertainty, Innocent, for our farmers is that, yes, there is some activity going on in the MNIB. The scale at which it's happening now is much less. The predictability. So our farmers now still cannot plan. You cannot go to the bank. In fact, right now, bank for you, because we don't know, you cannot get into no contractual arrangement. You're not too sure what is happening with you. So even marketing board itself cannot even engage in good downstream business. And I think that, again, it comes back to the issue of how we treated agriculture. And the bottom line is sometimes, what I do simply, when I don't know, I go and speak to people who know.
All right.
I go and find out, I go and read.
You solicit some information.
I solicit information. Yes. I don't try to pull out from inside of me which doesn't exist. Yeah. And so my real advice is that some speedy action be taken. Because if you recall, in the last budget presentation, my speech, I like to always have a topic statement. I was taught that way in school. When you're writing, or you have a topic, and the topic sentence was basically, as the grass is growing, the horse is starving.
Yeah.
And the horse here, metaphorically, is our farmers, our agriculture sector. And that continues into now. So I trust that by December coming, that this horse have been able to get enough food to eat, and we can able to be flourishing, as they say, fatness enough for Christmas. But as it is right now, we are in emergency mode.
What would you like to see if it was left to Senator Roderick St. Clair? What model would you like to implement for the MNIB?
Well, I mean, I've pronounced that on, I think, your program or another program previously. It could be a little bit, maybe I'll give you in a very short space, but to do justice, I don't want to be like that is the total, right? Because maybe I may miss little points, but essentially, and this has been communicated to the government through some medium, my position on this matter, and it's very clear. One, marketing board need to be steadfast as a government entity. It's the instrument of the government to protect your food security and run your whole program and your agriculture sector. So you don't want to lose that instrument. That is one angle. And so the food security part. What are the 10, 20, 40 items that you need to ensure for input substitution, for availability, and all of those things? And then what you do is that you connect, right? And you ensure that these farmers who are well capable, they have the capacity. You provide the different labor support system. You work with the nurseries to provide the different production schedule with the inputs and the seedlings and so on. And when you do that, you're also controlling your gluts and shortages, right? And then that is connected back to a market, because market is what drives everything. And the market is the marketing board, which is connected to the school feeding program, your institutions, and all of those things. Forget the export. So I'm not even going to export. I'm looking at just that first part, because you're resetting. When you're resetting, that's your first phase. And then, of course, your sugar and so on, you keep that, because those would help to fund that deficit on the back end.
Just pause for a minute. We have a caller that's been trying to get to us. Good morning, caller. Good morning. All right, we seem to have lost
so that, I would say, is the first phase. And then the second phase has to do with now, if you want to go export, you then partner with some export group, and you do that. If you want to get into packaging, you want to go into agro processing, that is where you do the private part. But the core part, you keep that, because it's part of the instrument of government for your own destiny. It's like selling all your lands.
Yeah.
And wondering how you're getting food tomorrow. Who does this thing?
Let's take this call. Good morning, caller.
Yes, Mr. Senator. You are quite right. You are quite right. There seems to be a problem in getting people to work in agriculture. But the reason why is simply we're not treating agriculture as a profession. People are doing cutlassing and pruning and draining. It is not anybody. It's not just the road worker that could do that. It's a skill in doing it. If you have people working one place, if you have a plantation where you have 5 and 10 persons, these 10 persons will be good people, good workers afterwards. But when you have to pick up somebody helter-skelter today, tomorrow, next day, let's go and make a deal with me, you would not get proper quality workers. You had quality workers when you had an estate, because you had category of workers on every estate who are paid and who have an understanding what to do. You understand? So until we bring back those kind of agriculture system, we wouldn't have it. Because you can't just take a man at cutlass on the side of the road and put him to clean a cocoa field. So that is where the standard are. And that's why I'm saying that we're doing things helter-skelter. It is time for us to season down those things. And that is where we're going to see good agriculture workers, because you have the person must be assured that they can get a day work 5 weeks, 5 times for the week.
Correct.
But not today you get a day work and tomorrow I don't know where you're going, and the next day I don't know where you're going.
Thank you, caller.
So some sort of maybe employment agency set up where you register and then you can deploy persons. So
you have a pool.
Because you see. And then sometimes, because whilst we may say, okay, I create an economic environment, and you see, we have to understand we are a developing country, and let me not fool ourselves. There are certain things that government had to get involved with and handhold for a certain time. We could jump high and jump low and speak out all these fancy theories, but we had to look at what is the reality on the ground. And what the Clifford is saying is so right. As the estate and them break up, a man with 2 acres of land cannot maybe give 2 days of work. 2 days. A man with an estate, you could work Sunday to Sunday because you have the land space and the sort of activity. So I think the whole issue of looking at some facilitation, family ministry of agriculture, maybe with the different institutions, etc., have this labor pool trained, capable. I think it's workable.
We have the time, but before we go, someone says, good morning. Why is it that Mr. Guido Marcel's wide experience and expertise is not being utilized? Person should be trained by him ASAP. He has a huge estate with loads of plants, rare and common.
Yeah, so Guido Marcel, my first boss in my whole working life, my mentor every day, is my good friend. And what the person is saying is very well. And Dr. Marcel is always ready and willing and available. To contribute anytime.
So why isn't he being utilized?
but you're asking me a big question.
Okay, just
on my own initiative, I know he's been utilized because the IGDO, Miss Sandra Ferguson and others, I know they have utilized him extensively. Only recently we were in a forum in Sotes where he's given out of his knowledge, particularly with plants and so on. So he is, but maybe in the broader space, someone else has to ask that question.
We out of time, however, it would be remiss of me if I don't ask you to speak on behalf of Nutmeg.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could speak nutmeg, the commodities, cocoa. I will say that I know this is a challenging time. I know all farmers always like to see a bonus, and I think that is what drives everything. But the issue of being able to do that has been a challenge. We need to get our nutmeg and cocoa back up and running. We need to do two key things.
Value added?
Well, value added is one, which is a resilience factor. But we also need to go and clear the lands because there are a lot of nutmeg, a lot of cocoa that is there in bush since after Ivan. Some of the roads are not accessible. And government again could jump high, could jump low. We could jump and say, okay, well, nutmeg and cocoa, they should do it. But it is just like fixing roads. It's just like any sort of infrastructure investment. And I would say with a good $1 million, $2 million program, within the next 2-3 years, we could see, and even before that, you could see some transformation in the industry. Of course, the government speak out planting and spice planting. I haven't seen the document what it looks like up to now. But while you're doing that, cocoa and nutmeg already there planted, waiting to bear. There's some of them already bearing.
They just need a touching up.
Island, if you get a cut, brother, the first thing you do, you stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. You don't try to call a vehicle, see the hospital open, see who nurse is walking. That time you're dead.
Yeah.
So again, as I say, there are strategies in which you do things, and speaking to the right people is one of the best way in learning. Now that is my take on the matter. Of course, I know we said we need to have some more discussions.
Well, I want to put you on the spot publicly. I want let the carnival season pass and come September.
Oh, I mean, I'll be playing job that time, so I can't come here.
No,
I mean,
no.
You see, but again, so you see, so we want to put carnival, put agriculture on hold for carnival, and then we say carnival, all the visitors here, and they need food to eat, and they need safe food. But so I'm putting you back on the spot now. You behaving like others.
So you wait till we complete.
But you want carnival to over?
Well, no, I mean, we're in July. Carnival is in August. So I'm saying right after carnival.
When is carnival?
In August.
Carnival is not enough. So the whole of August is carnival?
Well, that period, carnival season is now. But I want to.
I'm just teasing you.
I want to make a commitment that from August, once a month, I am insisting that you be here because farming and agriculture is an important business, and we our farmer folks and fisher folks and people in general want to ensure that they know what is going on in their sector. So can we get that commitment once a month?
And they know that I do my work. Sure. We have no problem with that. We would pick the days and we do all the announcement, so folks would, and if there are specific issues that they even want to raise,
they can forward.
And we could even also connect with some other proxy, because I mean there might be other persons that we may want to connect into that may want to contribute based on the certain expertise. But we need to as you say, break the silence.
Yeah, we need to.
So no, not breaking the silence. We do everything in a certain timing.
Yes, nothing happens before it's time.
Nothing happens before it's time. My father would say that. He said nothing happens before it's time, Sonny.
And you know that was one of my calypsos. Nothing happens before.
But you don't sing anymore.
Nah, I gave it up. I had enough of it.
Okay.
I'm going to be singing a new song.
Okay. I never tried singing. I could talk. I can't sing. So maybe I do poetry or something.
Yes. I have a good friend. Good morning to you, Mr. Pegleg, Matthew. You know, he heard one of my songs and he said, "Man, that's a nice song. You could write good." I say, "Yeah, I could write a nice song for you." He said, "You don't realize I catching me hell to talk now. You want me to sing?" So thanks for dropping by, and it's always a pleasure having you. I'm certain that people would have liked for this conversation to go on for about 3 hours because we need that amount of time, but we exhausted the time. And thanks again for dropping by, and we look forward to future engagements once a month coming up from August.
No problem.
Folks, that is where we've got to pull it. All right, all your paying farmers, NB bonus, any bonus all these years, farmers catching the hell. So said Coyle and Nash. Roger Mitchell says, farming is a skill, don't get it wrong. Okay, folks, thank you for being a part of the program. We look forward to another engagement. Thank you, we've got to go. Bye-bye.